the nationwide energy crisis intensifies in Winchester. With COP26 in its final week, local temperatures rise and world leaders sign declaration on forest and land use.
Importantes para mim porque cobrem mais de 60% do meu país.
Zoos are using animal waste to heat their buildings. And finally, a big derby win for the Basingstoke Bisons over the weekend. Hello, I'm Jen Howard and welcome to Winchester News Online. Millions of UK customers have had their energy suppliers stop trading following the rise of wholesale gas prices. But what does this mean for UK bill payers? Adele Bouchard reports.
The energy crisis continues to heat up as the days get colder. A further 5 UK energy suppliers stopped trading this month, bringing the number of collapsed companies since the beginning of September up to 19, now affecting over 2 million customers. But energy regulator Ofgem are continuing to safely transfer consumers to alternative suppliers without disruption.
Because we'd received emails in advance that it was going to be happening, we were just quite happy and confident that it was all going to be taken care of. The emails reassured us that there would be no loss of supply, so we were quite happy.
To reduce energy usage, the City Council are supporting insulation for Winchester homes, keeping homes warmer without the need to turn up the heating.
We have a lot of council houses that are owned by the council, and we've created a £15 million fund to invest in those council houses and bring them up to a higher environmental standard. Aside from reducing energy usage is to help people save money, because if we spend that money on investment, it's not just good for the planet, but it's also good for council tenants' pockets as well, because they face smaller energy bills.
When paying for gas and electricity bills, 5% immediately goes to the taxman. And as those bills increase, so does the 5%. In the budget last month, Chancellor Rishi Sunak dismissed hopes that the tax on domestic energy rates might be cut. His reasoning being that the schemes in place can better help lower-income households through the winter. But the advice from experts remains to save energy where you can and prepare for further price rises. Adele Bouchard, Winchester News Online.
So Adele, in your report you mentioned a new government scheme to help low-income households. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the main measurement in place is the Warm Home Discount Scheme, which runs from October to March, and rather than a payment, it's a one-off discount off your electricity bill worth £140. Unfortunately, it's only available to low-income pensioners and other low-income households who meet the criteria of their energy supplier. Whilst pensioners will receive a letter if they're eligible, other households will have to apply directly through their supplier. Then the scheme is given out on a first-come, first-served basis.
Right, okay, so obviously the experts are saying that the best thing to do is keep those energy bills low, but how can people do that?
Yeah, obviously it's annoying because those schemes aren't available to everyone. So the best and most reliable way to keep those bills down is by reducing energy usage. So the Energy Saving Trust recommends simple methods such as switching to LED light bulbs, turning down your thermostat, whether that's turning it off when you're not there, if you're away for the weekend, or just turning it down 1 degree altogether. That will make a difference over the year. So throw in an extra layer and turn it down. And then in the kitchen, you can do things such as only putting the amount of water you need in the kettle. So if you're making a cuppa for 2, you just need your 2 cups worth. And then using cold water where possible rather than hot, and using appliances such as your washing machine or dishwasher, even as little as just 1 time less a week. That will start to make a difference. So on the whole, it's just generally turning things off onto standby and only using energy as and when you need it. So you need to be a bit more wary, whether that's using a smart meter or just being a bit more conscious of your energy expenditure.
Cool, great, thank you Adele. COP26 is in its second week, so Hager Hagen has had a look at deals which have failed in the past. But first, here's Alistair English to see what impact climate change has had in Winchester.
World leaders are currently trying to resolve global climate change at COP26 in Glasgow. Similar issues are being played out at local levels. For example, Hampshire County Council has put pension funds into fossil fuels, something campaigners say must stop now.
Unison members and Extinction Rebellion activists are here today to bring attention to the Hampshire Pension Fund about their need to divest from fossil fuels. So the fund actually spends over 136 million on fossil fuels.
The University of Winchester tries to educate the next generation on environmental challenges in the workplace.
Graduates leaving now are moving into a world where whatever jobs they are teaching in, there are going to be challenges. They're working in, they're going to be challenges related to climate change.
Climate change has become an increasingly discussed topic. Scientists say we need to keep global warming to 1.5 degrees, otherwise we could see irreversible changes. In the last 30 years, the hottest summer day in Winchester was 34.6 degrees. If temperatures increased by 2 degrees, that could go up to 36.9 degrees. If temperatures increased by 4 degrees, that could go up again to 41.7 degrees. It's not just heat that is affected, rain is also affected. In the last 30 years, there was an average of 8 rainy days a month during the summer in Winchester. An increase of 2 degrees could see that decrease to 7 rainy days a month. An increase of 4 degrees could see it go down again to 6 rainy days a month. Alistair English, Winchester News Online.
So far, 133 countries have signed the Glasgow Leaders' Declaration on Forest and Land Use, agreeing to halt and reverse deforestation by 2030 in an attempt to save the world's lungs. The declaration highlights the importance of sustainable land use to meet the Paris Agreement goals, as well as its importance for Indigenous people and local communities. During COP26, we've heard from people in developing countries about how climate change has affected them and about how vulnerable some areas are to it. Currently, third world countries see it as crucial to secure compensation from richer countries for damages and loss caused by climate change. Together, the countries who have signed the declaration have over 90% of the world's forests, with Brazil being one of the countries to sign the deal. Even though the declaration sounds like great news, many are critical of whether it will actually make a difference. A similar agreement was made in 2014, and since then deforestation has continued to increase in some areas, like the Amazonas. Most of the deforestation today is happening in tropical developing countries, and for real change to happen, experts believe that consumer habits will need to change in richer countries, with people needing to cut down on consumption of products like red meat, palm oil and avocados.
And it seems that everyone is even more environment conscious at the moment. Marwell Zoo have been using their animal waste to heat their buildings. Kaylee Hazelden has been to find out more.
Renewable energy has been created at Marwell Zoo, Winchester, in the form of a biomass boiler which takes the animal waste and turns it into heat, something that is very unique in the UK and possibly the world.
We measured our first carbon footprint in 2008 and the result was 1,706 tonnes of carbon dioxide emitted every year. We then were able to draw up a plan for how we were going to reduce that down to net zero, and our target year was our 50th anniversary, which is next year.
First steps in creating this energy is to collect the waste, which is what the zookeepers do every day, before it is deposited into a mini refuse truck, much like what the council use for our own bin waste. This is then taken to the energy centre, where it will be delivered to a bay and then shovelled into a shredder. After the waste is shredded and mixed, it's sorted into smaller portions so that it can be dried and briquetted. Then it's put through a drying process that reduces the moisture content, which is needed in order for the briquette to hold together and be fed into the boiler. The heat of the boiler is then used as a dryer for the next batch of waste, but it's primarily used to heat the rest of the zoo. Enclosures and tropical plants that won't grow or survive in England's climate are able to thrive, with the zoo's carbon footprint reduced by 200 tonnes per year.
Now, onto something a lot less smelly. As we roll into the winter months, COVID booster jabs are being rolled out to those vulnerable. But how's it going? Here's Ben Morris with the facts.
So, with winter fast approaching, the NHS is concerned that without the COVID booster vaccine, it will be overwhelmed because of a combination of seasonal flu and COVID cases. However, medics are concerned that as cases are going down, people don't seem to be taking the opportunity to have the third jab. Only 17.9% of the population have had their third dose so far. When asked to comment on the booster rollout, Boris Johnson said that people should take up the offer of the third vaccine as soon as they are offered it, rather than the government having to contemplate further restrictions. Now, in terms of eligibility, according to the NHS website, there are 6 categories which people should fall into to be able to receive the booster. These categories include people over 50, health and social care workers, and those who are clinically vulnerable. And finally, so far, a total of 10,302,554 people have received the booster, with 209,885 having received their jabs in the past 24 hours.
Thanks, Ben. So now we have our annual news roundup. So it's over to Eleanor Dixon to tell us what's going on in Winchester this week.
Next Sunday, the Remembrance Day service will be held at the cathedral at 10 a.m. Last year, the service was only available via live stream due to COVID restrictions. This year, some will be allowed inside the cathedral, however there are limited spaces, so the event will still be live streamed on YouTube. The front of the cathedral has been lined with hundreds of handmade poppies, which were made last year by Sue Butcher, the chairman of the women's section in Hampshire and Winchester. A local entrepreneur who started a mobile coffee can in Hursley is now opening a new cafe on St Thomas Street. Ashby's Winchester, named after the owner James Ashby, is still under construction but is set to open before Christmas. A representative told Winol they will have a pink and flowery theme and will be serving locally roasted coffee along with teas, hot chocolates and a variety of wines, as well as various food options throughout the day. And finally, last Thursday, a new mural by local artist Hen Dog appeared at North Walls Recreation Park on one of the outbuildings near the cricket pitch. According to their Instagram, the Bonfire Night piece is titled A Memory Lost in Space. The anonymous artist has created a number of murals around Winchester, with their first found back in March on an underpass at St Catherine's Hill.
Also, this week, we've wrapped up warm and watched the fireworks on Guy Fawkes Night. But what about our pets who can't stand those loud bangs? Izzy Higgs spoke to experts about what we can do for our furry friends.
This weekend we saw fireworks soaring over the skies of Winchester.
Every year we set off fireworks to celebrate holidays and to celebrate Guy Fawkes Night, but some like them a little less than others.
Many animals are stressed out by fireworks, but dogs seem to be affected most of all.
One of them's fine and the other one is terrified.
This one isn't, but the other one is. It's been an absolute nightmare the past couple of nights with him. Went out quite late on Bonfire Night and there were some really close fireworks and he wasn't so keen on them.
There's many reasons why dogs are frightened of fireworks, and you kind of have to turn detective to work out why your dog is anxious, because that's going to really influence your training plan and what you do to support them. You have to think about people who have guide dogs. You know, guide dogs will be extremely affected at this time of year, and lots of them actually can't work or actually get withdrawn from work because of it.
Took a thunder coat on him, we've played Classic FM.
He's got a collar on that's got pheromones in it that sort of releases to calm her down. And we also use hemp oil.
Lots of work going on beforehand to play them the sounds of fireworks and things like that, trying to help.
Here are Tony's tips on achieving a peaceful fireworks night. Try to find an underlying cause. Avoid quick fixes and fads. Try using white noise a few months beforehand. Consider asking the vet for a mild sedative a little while in advance. Remember that preparation is key.
Most people will try one thing once, so they might have tried a plug-in. Well, that worked a little bit, but not very much. They might have tried a thunder shirt. They might have tried the CDs to desensitize. But what people don't necessarily get is that we need to put lots of these things together.
Seek professional help if you feel your pet is so stressed that it's impacting their health. This has been Izzy Higgs with Winchester News Online.
Winchester's 10th annual film festival began this week, with hundreds of people coming to see movies from filmmakers across the globe. The event explores the next step in filmmaking, with all types of genre up for show. So we sent over Oliver McLennan to view the opening night.
Yes, I'm Crawford. Yes.
The Winchester Film Festival has begun, with people coming from all over the world to see the event. The event will host films from across the world, with over 60 countries being involved and 350 filmmakers submitting their films. The event will show films from all genres, ranging from short foreign art films all the way to short documentaries. The Winchester Film Festival's 10th anniversary is here, with filmmakers from over 60 countries coming to the event. There will be over 350 films being shown at the event, with over 600 filmmakers coming. These films will be award winners, and some of which will be premiered for the first time here at these events. The films will also be judged by a panel of 12, who will be nominating on 8 categories, from Best Foreign Film to Best Documentary. My name is Oliver McLennan, Winchester News Online.
Now, a lot of us may dread hitting the gym, but it can really be worth it, in more ways than one. Taylor Sinclair took to Winchester University Gym to find out what treadmills and rowing machines can do for our mental health.
The gym is important for both mental and physical health, with students being welcomed back with open arms this year in an attempt to get active and shake off the cobwebs from last year's disappointment of staying at home for an extended period of time during lockdown. With a wide range of activities being provided to increase competition and fun while working out, to aim to have a positive impact on returning students' mental health, which is vitally important in a stressful university environment.
The gym is definitely good for your mental health, whether that be people coming in and meeting new people coming into the gym to exercise, whether that be a walk on the treadmill, whether that be joining an exercise class that they haven't done before. It's definitely good getting people out and about. You can meet new people when you come into a gym environment, get out of your comfort zone, and that's definitely something that's good for your mental health, I believe. I'm a strong advocate for exercise for mental health, obviously working in a gym myself. I definitely think that exercise is good for your mental health on a personal level, and experiences of other people that I know that have had experiences with mental health in the gym, they've always said that the gym has been a great environment to help with mental health.
Fortunately, students are now being given the opportunity to go and enjoy themselves with friends or on their own and use all the facilities provided. The gym is busy planning activities to get more people involved and provide an outlet for enjoyment and fun, key to the development and sustaining a happy mind in an ever-changing world.
The gym is a great space to work on yourself and your own mental well-being, but while I'm here, I think it's about time I go for a workout.
Taylor Sinclair, Winchester News Online.
And now we have Harry Jones with Everything Sport. Over to you, Harry.
Thanks, Jen. The Basingstoke Bisons have been back in action this week as they hosted the Bees on Saturday afternoon. Kurt Hill was our reporter at the Planet Ice Silverdome Arena.
The Basingstoke Bison looked to bounce back from a run of 3 straight defeats as they hosted their closest rivals, the Bracknell Bees, and it was a scrappy, tight and high-tension affair. The Bees drew first blood 2 minutes before the end of the first period. However, Alex Roberts managed to respond with a quick equaliser. In the second period, Adam Harding fired the Bison into the lead, but the Bees buzzed back and stung the Bison, scoring the next 2 goals through Ryan Webb and Joe Berg to give themselves a derby lead. But the Bison weren't about to let this swarm of goals deter them. Martinek and Jones linking up beautifully to give them the lead. The Bison weren't done stampeding their rivals' net yet, as Liam Norris slotted home. Then 15 seconds later, George Norcliffe gave them a 2-goal advantage. They looked in complete control of the derby, with man in form Adam Harding topping off the scoring with his 4th goal in 5 games. The Derby Day tensions finally boiled over right before the end of the match as the Bisons and Bees came to blows. After the fight, the Bees were able to break down the Bison's momentum. Despite a late fight back from the Bees, the Bison were buzzing to be able to wrap up the win against their rivals, taking them up to 5th in the league.
Yeah, it was great to have a win again. I think the boys needed it, to be honest with you. It was a great feeling, good atmosphere in the locker room, and yeah, the boys are pumped. Yeah, it's always good to beat Bracknell, and obviously we're in a bit of a slump there, but yeah, we're happy to get back on the win column.
This is Kurt Hill from Winchester News Online.
Now, football teams across Hampshire were in action as the FA Cup kicked off this weekend. Here's Matt Rooks-Taylor with the results.
It was an overall disappointing weekend for many of our local football teams, as Winchester City scraped a point in a 2-2 draw with Melksham Town. Goals from Kieran Douglas and Simba Balambo drew City level in the second half after going 2-0 down away at the Oakfield Stadium. And Basingstoke Town narrowly lost in a 2-1 defeat away against Bracknell Town. Stephen Brown equalised for the Dragons by slotting home in the 90th minute. However, it wasn't enough, as league leaders Bracknell managed to sneak a winner in the closing stages. And in the FA Cup, Eastleigh lost 2-0 to Boreham Wood, and League One side Portsmouth kept a clean sheet, but only managed to put one goal past non-league side Harrow Borough at Fratton Park on Saturday. Marcus Harness netting from a Marlon Romeo cross in the 28th minute. Danny Cowley's men will soon play Harrogate Town at home in the second round of what he described as the greatest cup competition in the world. That's all from the football. Back to you, Harry.
Thanks, Matt. The Winchester men's tennis team are set to travel to Devon this week for an away fixture in Exeter. I went down to their training session on Sunday to find out firsthand how preparations are going for the big game.
The Winchester University men's tennis team are set to return to the court this week as they travel to Exeter on Wednesday afternoon. Mark Anthony Willett's side have endured a tough start to the new campaign after being on the wrong end of a clean sweep in their season opener against Bristol, before having to gift a walkover to the Exeter Thirds due to injury issues. They'll have a tough test this time out too, playing against an Exeter second side who have picked up 2 wins from their 3 matches so far this year. And further injury problems within the group means that Willett will be forced to send out a depleted squad of players once again.
Our main expectation is really to just come away with it with as many points as possible, so try to make the matches as close as possible, especially as Exeter seconds are probably our hardest competition this season. The main things we've been working on have been consistency and just trying to finish the point as effectively as possible. We have a couple of injuries, but I think if we manage it properly, they'll be ready to play on Wednesday.
The University of Winchester men's tennis team are back in action on Wednesday afternoon as they travel to Devon in search of their first victory of the campaign. So all that remains to be seen now is, will it be yet another double fault, or can they return back after their first ace of the season? Harry Jones, Winchester News Online.
Thanks, Harry. So that's Winchester News Online from this week. See you next time. Bye-bye.